As an IFBB Pro who cut for competitions, I've made many mistakes when it comes to cutting, but I also learned a lot. So that's what I want to talk about here. Things that I've done that work, and I think that can be valuable knowledge for someone. If you're considering going on a crash diet, on a very low calorie diet, spend hours on a treadmill, please stop. I've been there, and all it does is a number to your metabolism. That creates metabolic adaptation, and I've been there. That's something that's not fun to recover from. So how can you go through a cut and still not ruin your metabolism and still be at your best health? That's what I'm going to talk about here. How you can be eating high volume and still be on a low calorie diet and not ruin your metabolism. Before I get started, if you don't know me, hi, I'm Eleni, IFBB Bikini Pro and soon to be fitness coach. I'm working on getting my certifications. I'm going to keep you updated when I'm ready to get started in case you want to work with me. I want to start talking about my philosophy on weight drop. My sweet spot personally is losing 1 pound per week. I'm 5 feet tall. I'm a petite woman, so the numbers may look different for you, not only based on gender and height, but also based on other factors like our lifestyle, our genetics. There are so many things that go into it, so you're going to have to find your sweet spot that works for you. For me, it's 1 pound per week, and I try to not go above that. If my weight starts dropping above that, that's when I have to step on the brakes so I don't cause metabolic adaptation and I don't cause damage to my body. So maybe start at a low number and then from there feel how your body reacts, how your energy levels are. That's how you're going to be able to gauge if you're causing your body damage. So pay attention to those signs from your body and don't go above that number. And I know we live in a world of lose 10 pounds in 10 days type of thing, but be careful with that. Like I said, recovering from metabolic adaptation is not fun. Your recovery period is going to depend on how long you've been on crash diets, how long you've been on extreme low calorie diets. So be careful with that. When you plan for a controlled slow drop, like I mentioned, that's when you're not going to be dropping your calories to insane numbers right away, and you're going to be able to achieve your goals without the extreme calorie restriction overnight, which is what causes your body the most damage. And also, when you stay in that sweet spot of the controlled weight loss, two things happen. Number one is that your body is going to be more efficient at burning fat for fuel instead of burning your muscle tissue. That's something that happened to me. It's not fun recovering your muscles, so be careful. And second is that your training performance is not going to tank. I've seen the two things happening where I had a huge drop my training performance because I transitioned to a low calorie diet too fast or I stay there too long. It's not fun to see you no longer making that progress at the gym. And with a cut, you may see your weights at the gym drop. That's natural. But when they tank so abruptly, that really messes with your head. You don't want that. And that's not necessary. I also had cuts where I went through everything that I'm telling you here, and I was able to keep most of my strength at the gym while still losing body fat. It depends on how much weight you're cutting, of course, but it's possible for you to even keep your strength while you're cutting if you do that in a smart way. Remember that slow fat loss is permanent fat loss. Fast fat loss is just a recipe for a rebound. So how do you go about dropping your calories? That's what I want to talk about here next. Instead of putting your body through an abrupt cut, let's say you cut 500 calories overnight, do a more controlled cut where you're cutting a few calories per week. In my case, what worked for me is that I would cut 50 to 100 calories per week, depending on how much time I have to achieve my goal. And of course, again, that's going to depend on your lifestyle, on your weight, on your gender, on your height. I'm just talking about what worked for me. And you want to pull those calories from primarily fats or carbohydrates, whatever works best for you, and try to keep your protein level at the same amount, so you're not losing too much muscle in this process. And then you just observe your body. If you're losing weight in a certain amount of calorie, you stay there. Don't just keep dropping lower just for the sake of it. And then eventually our bodies start adapting to the lower calorie intake, and that's when your weight's going to plateau. Most people panic and then they try to just cut 500 calories from their diet overnight. Don't do that. What you want to do is to keep making these small drops. Maybe try to also increase your step count per day. Don't go doing extreme cardio. I've been there. That doesn't work. That's how you wreck your body. Try to make small increases in cardio, small drops in calories. That's how you go about that. Don't panic. And I also want to talk about a little bit about my personal experience and what I do in case you want to get some ideas from it. Our bodies are different, so they're going to work in different ways, but I think by sharing experiences, that's how we learn what works best for us through trial and error. When I look back at my best cutting phases and my worst ones, I see that there's a pattern where my best cuts were done in a slow, controlled manner, and also by prioritizing the quality of the foods that I'm eating. I now follow a mostly whole foods, plant-based diet, which for cutting is great because you are able to eat more high-volume foods with low calories, and also because those foods are so nutrient dense, I'm able to have my body function at an optimal level in a healthy way without doing too much damage to my body while I'm cutting. I also try to find foods that work best for me in terms of what I enjoy as well, and also what works best for my body. For example, I can do soy because I probably have an allergy to soy. I feel awful when I have soy. So listen to your body and understand what foods work best for you and what foods you enjoy the most. For example, for me, I love fruits, so I always have fruits during my cutting phases as well. What I'll do is that I'll try to switch higher calorie options for low calorie options. For example, I'll switch bananas for strawberries or apples that are lower calorie, but still provide the amount of fiber, nutrients that I need. Even if you don't follow a plant-based diet, I highly advise you to prioritize high volume, nutrient dense foods while you're cutting. So massive amounts of vegetables, clean, complex carbs, high quality proteins. A huge part of cutting is also your mental health. If your mind is not in the game, you're not going to be able to carry on with the cut in a healthy manner. So if you can look at your plate and you see high volume there, that also plays a role in your mind that you know that you're staying full. Also getting good amounts of fiber and protein to your diet are going to help you feel full the whole day. So pretty much the X factors are training, consistency, and mindset. Just remember that cutting is not all about dropping. I hate when people out there keep saying calories in, calories out. Our bodies are way more complex than that, so be careful. You don't want to cause damage to your body just because you're going in and out of crash diets. The most important thing is to be consistent. And remember that any type of long-term progress will take time, whether you're trying to build muscle or you're trying to lose fat. If you want the results to last, it will take time. Those crash diets that you see out there are not sustainable. It's not easy, but it will pay off, trust me. When you try to find shortcuts and expedite processes that can't be expedited, that's when you crash, that's when all your effort goes down the drain. But if you stay consistent, just trust the process, do things slowly, take your time, that's when the results will come and they will stay. So it will pay off, trust me. If you found this video helpful, please hit the subscribe button and leave a comment here and let me know what you want to see in the next video. See you next week.